Welcome back to Euro Football Daily for this week's edition of Euro Transfer Talk. Following the financial impact of COVID, many in the media anticipated a quiet summer on the continent, where the TV revenue lags behind that of the Premier League. However, that's not how it played out, with the likes of Benfica, Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid outspending English giants Arsenal, Manchester United and Liverpool. Today, we're going to break down some of those moves, as well as debating which failed transfer caused the most heartache for you guys at home. Let's go. Last season, Bayern's Polish hitman Robert Lewandowski clocked up the fourth most league minutes in the squad, with understudy Joshua Zirkzee not quite ready to deputise at number 9. Clearly, this lack of depth was playing on Hansi Flick's mind, especially with his prized asset turning 33 next August. The solution? 31-year-old Eric Choupo-Moting, apparently, fresh from his trophy-laden spell with Paris Saint-Germain. Despite being the butt of many jokes, owing to his unlikely transition from the Bet365 arena in Stoke to the bright lights of the Parc des Princes, Moting actually has solid pedigree when it comes to German football. As a youngster, he represented the Mannschaft at various youth levels, even scoring 4 goals in 5 appearances for the under-21s. Despite eventually opting to turn out for Cameroon, the bulk of his club career was much closer to home. In spells with Schalke, Hamburg, Mainz and Nürnberger, the 6'3" striker put up 66 goal contributions in just over 200 appearances. Unlike the £40 million signing of Manchester City's Leroy Sané, this is unlikely to make the back pages in Bavaria. However, after failing in their pursuit for Hoffenheim point man Andrej Kramaric, and given the time constraints, we think this is a perfectly serviceable alternative. And the Bundesliga homecomings didn't stop there. After clocking up over 100 appearances with Juventus following his switch to the Old Lady from Bayern in 2017-18, Brazilian Douglas Costa returns to the Allianz on loan. Despite 3 consecutive Serie A crowns, Costa was never really able to replicate the form that persuaded Juve to part with €40 million all those years ago. With only 2 league goals to his name in his last 2 full seasons, the 30-year-old will be hoping that familiar ground means new results. Completing Bayern's budget triumvirate is former Espanyol central midfielder Marc Roca, who was snapped up for a modest £8 million following the Precocious' relegation to the Segunda Division. The 23-year-old started all but 3 league games of Espanyol's ill-fated campaign last term, completing a team-high number of passes, as well as 4.3 long balls and 3.2 defensive actions per 90. These are great baseline numbers for someone on a relegated side, but some way off the high standards set by Thiago and Kimmich. Subsequently, we expect him to take half a season to bed in. St Etienne has become a regular hunting ground for the Premier League's elite in recent years, particularly when it comes to sourcing central defenders. In the 2019-20 season, Les Verts sold William Saliba to Arsenal for €30 million just 13 starts into his senior career. This year, Wesley Fofana's exit has topped that princely sum, with Brendan Rodgers committing €40 million to secure his services. Leicester had originally bid in the region of £22 million, but interest from the likes of West Ham, AC Milan and RB Leipzig meant St Etienne were able to drive the price up. At just 19 years of age, with only 14 Ligue 1 starts to his name prior to this season, Fofana is somewhat of a gamble for the Foxes, who already have Filip Benkovic in reserve. Admittedly, the 6'3" academy graduate has excelled in those limited minutes, completing over 4 defensive actions per 90 and retaining a pass accuracy of 82% from 46 passes a game. A solid foundation, but Rodgers will no doubt be demanding more, given his penchant of building from the back. In fact, last season, Leicester's entire back four were completing over 55 passes per 90 with both centre-halves accurate, with roughly 88% of their distribution. The bar has been set very high. Will Fofana be able to meet it? Don't let a few road kick-ups fool you. Sergino Dest is one of the best young fullbacks in Europe. Last term in the Eredivisie, it took him little under 1,500 minutes to adjust to the rigours of first-team action. As well as completing a solid 3 defensive actions, Dest also racked up 4 assists. In fact, his expected assist per 90 was 0.25, which would have ranked him 3rd in the Barca squad behind Messi and Riqui Puig in 1920. And just in case we have any Dutch League naysayers out there, he was also able to replicate this form in the UCL, with his 1.2 key passes per 90, the 4th best return in the Ajax squad. With a Dutch mother and an American father, Dest's upbringing was a clash of 2 cultures. His playing style, however, is distinctly Barcelona, with the youngster extremely economic on the ball and always looking to play it short. The powers that be at the Camp Nou clearly back him to make an immediate impression, jettisoning Nelson Semedo to Wolves in order to finance the pursuit, weeks after the Portuguese fullback was described as unsellable by chairman Bartomeu. Ajax will be disappointed they didn't get the 30 million they originally wanted. settling for a deal worth €21 million up front with a potential €5 million in add-ons. However, after bringing the US international through their ranks, it's all profit. And 22-year-old Nasser Mazraoui is hardly a bad alternative. We think Ajax will be just fine. To call Arsenal's pursuit of Atletico Madrid's Thomas Partey drawn out would be an understatement, with their first bid of €25 million in a player being cast out by Simeone and co 2 weeks ago. However, with 30 minutes left of the transfer window, the Gunners eventually paid his £45 million buyout clause, much to the despair of the Colchoneros. The 27-year-old Ghanaian became a mainstay at the Wanda Metropolitano after club captain Gabby aged out, claiming the Europa League and the Super Cup during his 6 years and 188 appearances at the club. Such was his stock at Atletico, Simeone recently said he could see him playing for Manchester City. However, it was only really Arsenal who showed concrete interest. On a reported £200,000 a week, Partey becomes the club's 4th highest earner. However, Arteta was able to offset some of this cost by loaning out midfielders Lucas Torreira and Matteo Guendouzi to Atletico and Hertha Berlin respectively. Vital funds were also raised through the £17.5 million sale of goalkeeper Emi Martinez to Aston Villa. So, what does Partey bring to the party? His 13 bookings, 3 more than Granit Xhaka, and 1.4 fouls a game last campaign highlights his combative side, but he's also a technician, capable of dictating the tempo of games even in the Champions League. In 1920, he averaged 62 passes per game in Europe's elite competition, more than any other teammate. With most of Arsenal's progression coming down the flanks in the early exchanges of this season, this element of control down the middle will be a welcome addition for Mikel Arteta's men. Last year, Fiorentina president Rocco Commisso declared that he wouldn't sell Federico Chiesa for even €100 million, in the face of fierce interest from Juventus and Manchester United. True to his word, Chiesa stayed with the Viola for another campaign, where the Florence native contributed to 16 goals in 31 starts, a career high. However, holding on to their star player has come at a cost, with Juventus securing their man for roughly market value this time round, paying Fiorentina €10 million over 2 years while they loan the player, then €40 million if certain obligations are met, thus making the transfer permanent. Oddly enough, despite selling their best player to a regional and historical rival, the Fiorentina fans don't appear overly bothered. Despite coming through the youth ranks, Chiesa's relationship with some of the Ultras had allegedly become frosty. His unwillingness to commit to the club past his contract, which expired in 2022, weakened the club's negotiating position, which was said by many to have been a great source of contention. When Chiesa wore the armband in his last game for the club against Sampdoria, the Ultras supposedly forbid him to don the commemorative one, honouring David Astori because of his impending move to their rivals. Chiesa is undoubtedly one of the hottest prospects in Serie A. What isn't clear though is where he's going to play for Pirlo's Juventus in their fluid 3-5-2 system. In terms of securing game time, Chiesa's versatility will certainly help. As well as playing on either flank or down the middle for Fiorentina, he began this season as a fullback, contributing to 2 goals in 3 games. However, with last season's MVP Paulo Dybala and new signings Alvaro Morata and Dejan Kulusevski also competing for similar starting berths, there's every chance his Juve career could go the way of former teammate Federico Bernardeschi's. So, Jadon Sancho didn't join Manchester United. Julian Draxler stayed put at PSG despite heavy interest from Bayer Leverkusen, and Jeffrey Kondogbia won't be joining former teammate Rodrigo at Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds. However, the biggest transfer heartache of all has to be Arsenal releasing Gunnersaurus on a free. Owing to the lack of fans in the stadium, Arsenal took the absurd decision to part ways with their much beloved mascot of 27 years. As a result, a GoFundMe page has been set up for Jerry Quay, who's stuck to the role admirably since 1993. 3 years before Arsene Wenger's arrival. Show your support for Jerry by sticking #SaveGunnersaurus in the comments below. So guys, that was Euro transfer talk for another week, but who did we miss out? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.